The last video I just ended is a perfect stimulus to segue into this one. We'll make it short to answer the question, why does my partner or ex, baby daddy, baby mama, why are they so drawn to cheating on me? And why are they a homewrecker? Why do they run off at the drop of a hat? They leave me and they deprive me of intimacy. They deprive me of sex. We had a sex-starved marriage, and they complain that they don't get enough sex, but they don't give me any sex. But they run right out and they have sex with a stranger, or sex with that person from their past who has now got a house and a spouse, and beautiful kids. The more attractive the spouse is, the more money they make, the more success that's evident in their life, the nicer the home, the nicer the cars, the more vacation photos they post on Instagram, and the more pretty the children are, the more that your partner is drawn to have a sexual affair with that person. Why do they do it? Your partner is so insecure and broken and self-loathing from their childhood core wounds relative to primary caretakers' treatment of them through trauma with the caretakers, or through some sort of oftentimes sexual violence that occurred that the caretakers should have managed to foresee and protect the child from. So your partner may have been molested by somebody in the family. I'm now going to a help group, a Christian-based addiction recovery group called CR. It's national. I'm sure there's one in every big town. Celebrating Recovery. I just went to a meeting last night, my second one. It's a wonderful organization. I love being there. It's better than church. It's better than church because there's no pretense. Oh, there's a good-looking woman just drove by in a car. Feast your eyes, honey. Feast your eyes on all the junk in my redneck, Sanford and Son junkyard here. She'll be back. She's going to stop by and ask about some of those truck parts. Trust me. Oh, I kill me. She's going to come back by because it's a dead-end road. And there's a cul-de-sac, and she's going to come back by whether she likes it or not. And then I'll get to see her husband look, and he's going to be the one that wants to stop and inquire about my junk. What were we talking about? Celebrate Recovery, excellent group. Your spouse, why does your spouse seek out married men or married women? Hey, quit licking your crotch, Roxy. Go be pregnant someplace else. Your spouse seeks that person out because there's extreme validation and there's no risk of an attachment forming. I want to hear you lick your cooch. There's no risk of an attachment forming. Because in an instant, if this person that they go and have an affair with tries to cling and tries to make this sexual rendezvous into a relationship, all they have to do is say, hey, I'm going to call your wife. I'm going to call your husband. You're going to lose everything. If you don't get lost, you're going to lose everything. And so, oh, I know who that is. That's a dopehead. He's just in a nicer car. But the thing about it is, your partner feels low and unvalued and unworthy, and they're not getting the validation that they need from you in their marriage to you. So what they don't feel attractive to you, they don't feel beautiful to you, they don't feel like you love them, because if you did, you would show them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, X, Y, Z that's in their fantasy life, and you probably are their fantasy partner. But in living out your relationship, now I'm talking about your partner. If you're a man and you're talking about a female, your wife is probably living out an obsessive fantasy in her head with you and her, and she stays there because it's wonderful. She stays detached from your relationship because it doesn't live up to the fantasy. So lots of times you are being punished for a thing that you did not do. You didn't play your role in the script. You didn't read your lines. They have invented a play in their head, and you went off script by being normal, because normal life happens and mistakes happen. But in the love movie, no one is bickering about loading the dishwasher wrong or squeezing the toothpaste wrong, or hey, I keep Like, we haven't had sex in a while. No one says that in the fairy tale movie. So you're going off the script, and they're mad at you now. Subconsciously, they're irritable and snappy and short and mean because you just keep going off the script. You're supposed to read your lines, which is, sweetheart, you've got the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen, and I got a big chunk of money saved up, which is not even possible to do when you're drowning in American inflation today with a bunch of kids and food prices and insurance, medical, sickness. It's just not possible. But your line in the script was, baby, I've saved up a bunch of money by working 17 jobs, yet being home for you all the time. And I've planned this romantic honeymoon getaway. I've planned a cruise, and I've arranged the babysitters, and I've done all these things. And pack your bags, we leave tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, you've never looked better than right now at 113 pounds or 130 pounds or whatever their mental target goal is that they want to be, that they're 70, 80 pounds heavier than in real life. So they don't live in real life. They live in an obsession, in a fantasy. And when they get real life criticisms and rejections from you, they flee you because you're dangerous. You're wounding them to the core. They flee you, and they actually reach out and make an emotional connection with somebody that they've identified through social media. Maybe it's at work. It could be a gym spouse. They've been having an intimate love affair in their head with someone else. And that someone else has the life that they want. And they have a beautiful partner of their own, and beautiful kids, and a beautiful home, and everything that your partner wants, this other person, this fantasy person possesses. If they can tempt and allure with that Jezebel spirit that comes into us through sin, if they can, at first they say, I just want to see if I can resist temptation. I just want to be, they're drawn to that person. So they find little ways to have contacts with them and see if that person takes the crumb, if they take that morsel, and if they reciprocate an interest. They reach out with some seemingly innocuous, innocent little, oh, hey, hey, ex-boyfriend who's now moved on, and I'm I lurk your wife. I look at pictures of your babies, and I wonder what would our babies look like, because, you're my phantom ex. You're my wonderful phantom ex that I keep bringing up to my husband when I need to make him feel hurt and wounded, when I need to stoke his insecurity, when I need to stab him as deep as the knife will go, right to the hilt. I bring up how wonderful my phantom exes are. So, be on my phone. So they reach back in time. They reach out to that person with that little morsel, and they see if it's reciprocated. And that person's marriage is probably kind of sucky too. But your spouse is saying, if I can win them back with just one night of hot sex, if they're willing to risk everything they have, everything wonderful, risk it on me, if they're willing to roll the dice and be absolutely deceitful and sinister and roll the dice on me, that means I am super special. They still love me. And I need to feel that special right now because I feel terrible about me. That's where it comes from. That's why your spouse is an obsessive compulsive cheater, because they're so broken. So broken. Their self-image is so broken. They do not feel unconditional acceptance. And if they've done a bunch of cheating on you in the past that you know about, it takes an awful big human being to give them unconditional love and forgiveness and acceptance. It takes one that I don't think I'm big enough. I'm pretty good at forgiving, but I don't think I'm big enough. Jesus is big enough. God is big enough. Holy Spirit's big enough. But I am not big enough, and you might not be either. Your partner needs a kind of healing that you may not be able to give. And it may only be in a season of isolation that person can be healed. And when they are healed, you may find that who they are is not who you want back. Maybe it is. Maybe it'll fix your problems. Maybe it won't. I know that I'm not capable of making the best decisions for my life, but God is. So I let him lead and I follow. He says, I will lead you to green pastures. I will lead you to still waters. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Not meaning I don't want him as my shepherd. I shall not lack. The Lord is my shepherd. I will not lack. I'm going to go walk my goats out into the woods for a while. They're going to have shade. They're going to have water. They're going to have brush. And they're going to eat. They will not lack. That's all they need. And they'll have security. Because they'll have me, so that any dog or coyote or whatever comes running out, I'm going to shoot it. They will have protection. They will have safety. They will have their needs met. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I can't believe how much I've learned about human interaction, but primarily women. As a man who's called to lead a woman and steward a household and steward a family, provide shelter and protection, I can't believe how much I've learned about how to do that through walking goats down the road, walking goats through the woods, where they could run off, they could scatter. They do not run off, they do not scatter, because they're not fearful of me. They are attached to me securely. If I move, they become uncomfortable. That's leadership. That if I'm going somewhere, I don't have to push you and run you. Me going somewhere causes you, well, not you, but my partner, my children, my family, if I'm going somewhere, if I'm behaving correctly, my people, they will want to follow. They will be scared for me to walk away and them not to come with me. That's what godly leadership looks like. And it's not done with a whip or a dog biting on somebody's heels. It's done through love and acceptance and giving people space to be themselves, to make mistakes, to be human, to be frail, to be insecure, to be broken, to be needy, to be angry. I'm preaching to the choir here. Well, really, because I'm just talking to a camera to myself, just like the crazy person across the street. So we're peas in a pod right here, except I'm not on meth, but I'm not judging them for being on meth. I wish that I've prayed for them so much. I wish that they could be healed from it. What a miracle. What glory it would bring to the kingdom of God for meth heads to turn around and become pastors. The church that I go to grew from 30 members to 8,000. The pastor is a meth head who tells his story of hiding barricaded in a single wide trailer up in the woods somewhere with literally junk piled up, all the windows and all the shades drawn, hiding in a like a laundry closet between a washer and a dryer, literally hiding because the cops, he was so paranoid from meth that he said the cops are going to kick in the door and shoot me. That guy's father was a pastor for 40 years, and that father never said I love you to the son. On Father's Day, that pastor told the story that his father had died without ever saying I love you. And he found out later in life through when the one sibling that dad had, so it was the auntie, the old auntie, came to live with them as she was dying, and she revealed their childhood story of how granddaddy was such a drunk that the 5-year-old boy used to sleep out in the woods at night, hiding on nights when dad would come home drunk because he would beat him so bad. Father's Day, my father was here in that church, and that was the message that God delivered. My grandfather tried to kill my father twice at sea and make it look like an accident, and he never said I love you. I was fasting, water only fasting. The Spirit told me to go 40 days. I only made it 12 and a half, but I was praying for my family to be restored. I meant I wanted my wife and kids back. I meant that I wanted my wife and kids back. Lord, restore my family, restore my family. The Lord heard my prayer. He leaned forward in his seat to hear my prayer, and he started acting on it immediately. He honored the days that I fasted and I denied myself what I wanted. I had a water bottle in one hand, and I had a father who came with a pile of cash and said, let's go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a restaurant every day. It's on me. And I said, no, Dad, I want Jesus. I want Jesus. I want Jesus. I drank out of that water bottle, and let me tell you, 7-8 days in, that water bottle starts tasting like it came from a storm drain. It's disgusting. There's a terrible taste in your mouth all the time. I was eating garlic salt, onion powder, and plain salt just to have any other taste in my mouth, because that water tasted disgusting. But I looked at it and said, Lord, Jesus said, I'll give you that water that causes you to never thirst again. To the woman at the well. The woman at the well who was rubbish to that society. He came specifically for her to say, you're not garbage to me. I love you enough to die for you. I'll give you that water where you'll never thirst again. I fasted. I sure wasn't thirsty, but I just kept drinking that water bottle, saying, this is you, Jesus, and I want you. And he honored it immediately. I said, I want my family back. He restored the broken relationships between me and my father and me and my mother in the span of a month. My father's 900 miles north and my mother's 900 miles south. And we've all been broken up since 1985. But he restored them like that. Praise you, Jesus. If I've reached any kind of core nerve in you, if I've touched any emotion, if anything in your heart is resonating, and if I've strummed just one string in you, please subscribe. Let me tell you about my pain so that you can safely, comfortably, confidently touch yours. And if you can touch it, then you can sit with it. And if you can sit with it, you can identify it. You can put words on it. You can put a label on it. And then you can speak it. And you can pop that zit. You can squeeze the pus out and be free of it. I want to help Jesus set you free. I can't save you. I'm an unqualified savior. I can't even save myself. But I can tell you all